Welcome to the Pair Affair today as we talk about the man who moved a mountain. In today's story that we have, a lovely story that my wife and I have read over and over. It's a story about they say people who say love can move mountains. There was a story about this gentleman and they known him as the mountain man. And time fell very, his wife fell very ill and they had to take her to the nearest hospital for medical assistance. But there was a hill they were in an isolated village. They were in an isolated village at the time. So to get to the other side of from one village to the other side, it was a hill in the middle of the way. So they had to go around it. They had to go around it because they had to treat her for serious injuries. So as they went around the mountain, it took a lot more time to get her to emergency, um, take care of her emergency situation. By the time she got there, she eventually died. And so it kind of struck the man very hard that if it was a shorter way to get to, you know, the hospital, to get people treated, he could possibly save some lives. So he decided to carve a small path through the mountain in order to give his village an easier access to medical attention. And the plan was a very ambitious plan because, anytime you have an ambitious plan, people are going to ridicule you for it. But what he did was he continued to keep working on this plan, even though he was mocked and ridiculed for the mission to give his hometown easier access to the nearby town. He didn't give up. He didn't give up. He continued to carve a path through the hill. Now, this path eventually, he got halfway through the path and people started, oh, maybe he can do it. And he got very tired. And one time, I think they said he got kind of sick and he almost had to give up. Then he took some time off. And there's always people say, oh, I guess he gave up. And then, he got his strength back. He got got better. And then eventually he, finished the path. He carved his way from one village to the other. It took him 22 years with great determination to finish this path. Um, his life work helped reduce the distance between the two towns from 55 kilometers to only 15 kilometers, so that this event would never ever happen again to someone else. What have you done? What have you done so that your life, the people around you, their life is better, their life is easier, not easier, but what have you done in your life? And you make great sacrifices and you're very determined to make things happen for your family so that they, they, have better access to certain things, certain maybe hospitals, grocery stores, parks, homes. We all make great sacrifices. But in this story that we have referred to, it took this person 22 years to accomplish this goal. And I'm always thinking, a lot of time I'm thinking that a lot of times as we're doing these things, it's all about delayed gratification. It's all about delayed gratification. Sometimes we'll start on a project and we want that result in that day. And you think it took this man 22 years to dig and carve his way through this mountain. I could imagine after year one, when people were laughing and giggling and just kind of making fun of him, he probably said, you know what? It's not really worth me going through this. And then when you're ridiculed, like he's probably was laughed at in the village. It's probably a small village. He's probably was laughed at. People just, every time they saw him, they would just snicker. They would just snicker and laugh. Like, what a dreamer over there. Why is he dreaming about that? Why is he wasting his time? And all of us will go through this in our life. We'll have people who are going to doubt us. And the tools that I use when people are ridiculing me and saying things won't work out and you need to just give up on your dreams, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing And as you're paying attention to what you're doing, look for things that you can focus your mind on. Another thing the second thing that we have to do is we have to follow directions. We have to follow the directions of how to carve out, how to not just, he had to follow directions of carving out this mountain. Maybe the first couple years he did it one way and he had to figure out another better way to do it. The third thing that he probably had to do is respect others. That's their opinion. When that person was ridiculing him, he probably had to say, okay, what's the big deal? That's just someone over there talking. That's just noise. And so he respected the person's opinion, but it doesn't mean he has to believe it. And a lot of times we want to believe these things that people are saying, but we have so much energy. We have so much energy in our day. And so the person who is telling us all this stuff, they're going to take all your energy away from you. And that's what they're for. They are there so that you won't accomplish your goals. And I think a lot of times people are placed around us to see if we can accomplish our goals. You're not saying that they're obstacles or certain things, but people are placed to see if we even pay attention to them. And one of the places I like to go is, I like going to the racetrack. I like going to the racetrack, not for betting, because I never win. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to bet. But I like going to the racetracks, and I just like to watch people. And I like to watch the people who are betting. I like to watch the horses. And as I watch the people betting, and there's certain areas that you can just stand and watch people. People have different techniques. And I'm amazed how they'll get their program, they'll get their book, and they'll be so focused on those numbers and so determined that they have made the right choice. They're focused on the details. Some of them look at the last 3 races of what the horse has done. Maybe they look at what the jockey is doing. And they're sitting there and they're studying, they're concentrating. And you have all this noise around these people who are making these bets. And they have these tables, you sit, and they have all these horse races going on. But people have their heads down. They're studying what's going on. And they're determined to that's the decision. They make their decision. They go to the window. They pay their money. And then they sit back and see if the result's going to come up. And then you have the other people who stand at the rail. They stand at the rail and they're watching the horses as they come down. If it's a live race, they can see the horses right in front of them. And they're watching every step that the horse is making. They're watching every step. If the horse stumbles a little bit, they say, they must have gave him some bad oats or something today. That's a sign right there. So people are always looking. And then, people looking at the horses, they go, they put him in that color? Oh, that's not a lucky color for me. So I can't bet for that horse. Oh, that jockey's riding that horse? That jockey's a horrible jockey. I can't bet for that horse. And so you have people who are making decisions based on observations. And I imagine, going back to our story, the people probably saw this guy who was carving this hole through this mountain. And they probably looked at him like, who do you think you are? Who gave you the strength to try to dig through this mountain? And all of us are given so many powerful, wonderful things to overcome things. But sometimes we let people talk us out of our dreams. We let people talk us out of our dreams. Sometimes it doesn't take much. And that tells you that maybe your dreams aren't, maybe you don't want it bad enough. Maybe you don't want it bad enough. And a lot of times as we go and we start off on things, no one's going to fight us for where we're kind of going in the beginning, because they say, but in the middle, they're going to give up. In the middle, they're going to give up. So I really don't have to do much. I see people all the time, even before they start or they get in the middle of something, it gets rough. It gets rough and they give up. But sometimes it's their decision to give up because it's not, tried a different way. as I embark on today's journey, I have to think about what I need to do to make things better. Just recently, I figured out some things. I said, there's got to be a better way of the production of our podcast to make it better. But I had to sit down and I told myself, I said, well, I can just give up and just, the people out there, they just have to accept it this way. And I said, no, you keep pushing. You keep pushing to make it better. If you want to do something, and like today, as I sit and I wait, if you want to do something, you have to make it better. And there's so many things that you can control to make it better. There's some things you just can't control. There's some things you just can't control whatsoever, and it's out of your realm. So what you have to do is when it's out of your realm or whatever, you can't control it. And I've heard this a long time ago. Don't worry about it. Things you can't control, why worry about? And I heard this saying when I was in high school and middle school. You can't control what other people are doing. Some people are just going to do what they want to do. You can't control that. But the people who are things that you can control, put 100% behind it. And don't worry about what other people are doing. If they're doing it over there, that man's carving through the hill, encourage him. He may need that little word of encouragement today. Today, as I was leaving and as I was dropping off my son, it's a simple little phrase we use every day, but I don't know if we listen to it or not. As one of his teachers was passing by, I told her, have a great day. I said, have a great day. It's a simple, hi, how are you doing? Have a great day. And then she came back with me, well, you have a great day too. And I said, I need that for today. I need that encouragement today because I have a big project I have to get done today. And I need those little words. They may not meant a lot to her when she said it. She's just being polite. I don't know. But those little words, when it gets tough today, when I'm working on this project, I have to remember she says, have a great day. And I have to use her as my little motivation to keep pushing and getting better and better. So as we continue and as we go, use little things to keep you going on your path. You're going to have setbacks. Yeah, this is how it is. You're going to have setbacks. But you got to keep pushing. You can't give up. And a lot of times we want to give up on the simplest things. So the thing is, sometimes you have to encourage people and you'll get the encouragement back towards you. But if you don't encourage people, don't expect you to be encouraged. So as we wrap this up and we thank you for listening in again and then listen to our podcast, just remember, there's a lot of things that you can do, but you got to put your mind to it. You got to be determined. You got to be focused. And one last thing you have to do is you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You really have to be patient and just take some deep breaths, breathe it 3 or 4 times, think about your goal, think about what you need to do, and just breathe deeply inside, and it'll work out. And you'll have a great day. Things will work out for you. Okay? Well, once again, thanks for joining us on the Parafair. And if you have questions, comments, or a topic you want us to talk about, please drop us a note. And thanks for encouraging us, and thanks for being with us. And as we continue to get bigger and better, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you again.